SABC News, independent and impartial.
From an African perspective. Welcome back to Africa Midday, 20 minutes before 1 o'clock. Is Zambia's democracy growing or merely just political parties increasing ahead of an election? Well, that's one question Zambians are asking themselves, and Arthur Scopo, Lusaka-based correspondent, helps looking into the issue following a formation of a new party by a former minister who was fired from the current government. Listen.
It is a political party that has been formed and launched today in Lusaka, Zambia, by a former Commerce, Finance and Works and Supply Minister who served under 3 presidents in the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy (MMD) and under the current Patriotic Front administration before being fired about 2 years ago. Felix Mutati has formed his political party, the Movement for Democratic Change or MDC, and sees himself as a strong contender in the 2021 general elections, adding to the list of political parties in the country that are reaching over 60 now. An accountant by profession, Felix Mutati has assembled a team of mostly members of the party that he left less than a year ago, the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy (MMD), which is Zambia's former governing party. Speaking at his party launch, Mutati outlined a number of factors that his party would want to offer to Zambians, including dealing with the high debt the country has, both internal and externally.
And the task that I'll give them is again to look at the policy framework, the fiscal policy, the monetary policy, and make sure that they engineer that policy to be able to stabilize the economy as a basis of growing the economy. To rethink of how the resource, the wealth of this country can be better engineered to benefit more Zambians than few Zambians.
Despite having many political parties, Zambians today mainly view 2 big contenders as the opposition United Party for National Development and the governing party, the Patriotic Front. The rest usually come up during elections. With over 60 political parties in Zambia, where does this place Mr. Felix Mutati's party, especially ahead of the 2021 general elections?
For the next year's election, it provides the people of Zambia the option, the alternative, the chance not to choose the lesser of the West. So our role as MDC is to motivate those of our Zambians that now there is an option.
Is this growth of democracy, or it is just merely one of those ventures people undertake as the country gets close to an election? Governance and elections expert McDonald Chipenzi says Zambia has code in terms of allowing political parties to be registered democratically, but unfortunately, most of them are just on paper and doing nothing.
And that in itself proves that our multi-party democracy is doing well in terms of allowing as many political parties as possible to appear on the Registrar Society's list. However, so launching a political party is a different story, and having that political party is the freedom to associate, to assembly, to expression is another. And one key thing that is undermining our democracy is the freedom to assembly, the freedom to campaign.
And development expert Felix Mutati says it is everyone's right to associate, but that association should not be hindered.
We have seen a number of political parties that are not able to express themselves, whose association has actually caused their livelihood. Some of them are not able to trade in the markets because they belong to a certain political party. So the freedom of association, yes, people have that right, but then we need to look at the other rights. Are they going to enjoy the right of the freedom of expression?
Will Felix Mutati make it on the political scene with his MDC? McDonald Chipenzi has this.
And you know the challenge with him is that he's coming from the PF, where he was serving as a minister, and because of that fallout after he was fired, and for him to break through, it will not be an easy job.
Meanwhile, Zambia Center for Inter-Party Dialogue, ZCID, a body that houses political parties in the country through its executive director, Doreen Njovu Kabwe, welcomes the formation and calls for activeness on the scene.
It shouldn't be an issue of forming a political party and shelving it. We want to see active participation of the political parties that we have. What is it you want to do for the Zambian people? What is your manifesto? So those are just some clear guidelines that we would like to see, and not just have it on paper that we have 70 registered political parties in Zambia. We want active political parties in Zambia.
Is Zambia's democracy growing or merely just political parties increasing ahead of an election? Reporting for Channel Africa in Lusaka, Zambia, I am Arthur Davis, Scopo.
That report by Arthur bring the time to 15 minutes before 1 o'clock. South Africa's Transport Minister, Fikile Mbalula, says the march by Mkondo Wesizwe Military Veterans Association in Gauteng is retaliation for his actions in clearing the rot at the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa.